Jamie Lynn Spears, this is your story. What did it feel like to be able to finally get your story out? Because one thing that's evident in reading the book is that you had to stay quiet about a lot of things for a long time.
Quite honestly, like scary and uncomfortable, but also really healing, and it makes me feel strong.
Yeah.
But also vulnerable. So it's weird to feel all those things at once. But at the end of the day, the truth is the truth, and saying it out loud makes it real, I guess.
You talk so much about your family keeping up appearances and wanting to put on a front for the world, and you're all in the spotlight. So with this book, what did you want to clear up the most?
Well, I think to an extent every family has a certain degree of wanting to appear a certain world, whether it's in a small town or a big city, you all want to kind of to an extent keep things private or keep up appearances. And so I think that it was just becoming so personal, and to where I was taking that as to where my own life and my own personality, I had to be perfect all the time. And that's a pressure no one should feel, much less when you're still a young girl. And I just think that it was important for me to really speak about this openly and honestly so that my daughters could hear from my perspective about all the flaws and all the messiness. I never want them to feel the pressure to be perfect. The mistakes that I make or they make, being open and honest about that is probably healing for them, but also other people.
Freeing.
Yes.
Yeah. And you talk a lot about your parents. You guys are a very close family, about the trauma that you dealt with from your father's drinking, from your mom's, I think you call it pretending. What do you wish they'd done differently sitting here as an adult and as a parent now for you and your siblings?
That's hard to say, especially because I am a parent. I'm sure there's things that my children will tell me I did wrong in the future, but obviously I wish my dad never would have drank. But again, he is a human and he has mistakes. My whole family does. And I think that I have to not think so much about what I would change and more so about how I can change my life going forward and what I can take from it, as well as using my pain or using my experiences to hopefully help others. And I think that's really the only thing I can focus on, because you can woulda, coulda, shoulda your whole life. I'm only responsible for me and my actions moving forward. I can't worry about what anything happened in the past.
Where do you and your siblings stand with mom and dad today?
It's a healing process that I know that I'm working through. I can't speak for anyone else because each of us are in this family and we all are dealing with things individually and from our own point of view. So I think we have to respect each other's process as we go through it, but it's in real time. I mean, I don't have all the answers. I'm just trying to do the best I can every day with everything that is, going on, just like many other families in this world.
Well, you talk about dealing with the onslaught that you get from fans, from the media. What is the biggest misconception you maybe wanted to clear up with this book for yourself?
This book isn't about me trying to clear up anything. It's about me using my voice and showing my daughters that your voice is important. That's what this book is about. But I would hope that, I guess, in the recent climate that is going on, that people would understand that this is a situation that's affected many people, and this is my reality that I've grown up in. It's the only reality I know, and I'm allowed to speak about that. And I think it's important to have compassion for what we don't understand and also make room for each and every voice, because everyone has their own experiences and they should all be respected and heard, because we need to teach everyone that every voice matters and give them a safe space to share it.
You are a Spears too. You dealt with the same parents that your sister dealt with, and there's been a lot of discussion about your sister and your parents and their relationship, but you grew up in that upbringing as well. When you were writing the book, how much did you grapple with how much you wanted to talk about your sister? Because you're tied forever, as you should be as siblings, but at the same time, you're tied forever, and that's a catch-22.
I think when you grow up your whole life really with the motto of, protecting others, and that became, I wanted to protect everyone else first besides myself. I think it's important that I was truly open and honest and used my voice. And like you said, I grew up, we do have the same parents, and that very much makes us sisters, and I love and support my sister, and I respect her healing process and however she has to work through things. And all I ask is that I, have that same space.
You get into some specifics of your childhood, of growing up in Hollywood, living with your sister sometimes and your mom sometimes, and there's a couple incidents that you reveal that are very powerful. You talk at one point about Britney being paranoid and getting a knife and bringing you into a room with her. How scary were those times for you? How were you processing that? And what do you think was happening?
I think there was a lot of things that happened in my childhood that were very scary and unsafe, and I just think that it's important that I was able to share how I felt in those moments, no matter who else is involved in them.
You're in the limelight, and a lot of people have come for you. What do you wish those people understood about you, and what do you hope they maybe get from the book?
Hopefully understanding that, I came into this family 10 years after the last child that was born, and I didn't decide or make any of these choices. I just learned how to
Adapt.
Yeah. And I am so thankful for a lot of the things that I have experienced, whether it was with my family or through the environment that we're in. And I think that people just need to understand that I've only ever tried to be my own person and create a life and a future for me and my children that is my own, so that I can have this book to look back on and say, yeah, it's scary, but that was my voice and that was my truth, and I'm allowed to have that. Even if it's messy, even if it might hurt some people's feelings, or it might be scary for myself, but I just have to do what is my truth and my voice.
Were there times in the last year when you wanted to speak up and you felt like you couldn't, and you had to, push that voice down?
Well, I think that what maybe people forget is this is real. This is these are people I really love and care about. I'm processing and working through it, and I don't maybe do that in a public way, but it truly affects me. I'm dealing with these things in a way in real time that I'm trying to work through, and sometimes that's not always something you share with the rest of the world as you go through that.
Were there times when you wanted to? Just
oh my gosh, of course.
Here's everything, okay? Here's how I feel.
Get in the comments with somebody who's been mean to you, of course you want to, but I think that at the same time, what is that really gonna benefit? I need to focus on me and my family and my healing process, and I think that getting into a conversation with someone who knows absolutely nothing factual or truthful is just, it's a waste of time for them and for myself.
You make it very clear in the book, you're adamant. You have not been involved in your sister's conservatorship. Even when she asked you to get involved with her legally, you said that was not a good place for you to be. With everything that happened in the past year, what did you hope the outcome would be? From your perspective, this is your family, what did you want?
I wanted for everyone to be happy, and I think that everyone has that right at the end of the day. So I think that ending the conservatorship is what my sister wanted, so that's what happened, and I support that. I never had any involvement with it. I just simply wanted to be a good sister, and I really, since I was a very little girl, have just wanted my family to be a family, and I want what's best for everyone. And so I think that that's all I can ever ask for in this family that is mine.
Do you think people don't know what you didn't know? I got a sense reading the book that you were not privy to a lot of information about everything.
I think you have to remember when this conservatorship came into place, I was a 17-year-old about to have a baby, so I think I was pretty occupied. And also, I was still a young girl. I didn't understand a lot of the things. There's still a lot of things I don't understand, and perhaps that is, something I could have educated myself more on, but I have 2 children I'm caring for, and when this came into conception, I was a teen mom, all alone, trying to figure it out. So I just think that people have to understand that I've very much always done what I believe is the right thing to do in each situation, but I can only do so much with the information that I have, and also I do have my own life that I am dealing with things sometimes that I have to put first, but at the end of the day, I've always done what was the right thing in each moment with whatever I've known.
Well, the conservatorship's over. Have you talked to Britney? Where are you guys at? She's engaged. She says she's gonna get married now. Will you be at the wedding?
I love and I support my sister in each and every way, and I'll continue to do that. I just think we're all in a process of healing. This has been a very up and down year for everyone, so I just think that right now that's where we're focusing on that.
Has your family read the book?
They've read big chunks of it, but they haven't read it from first page to last page. So I'm excited for them to read it, but I'm also I know that obviously I'm gonna say something that's gonna make somebody mad, but at the end of the day, this is the truth, this is my story, and I think they're more supportive of me healing than they are of their feelings getting hurt.
One thing that stuck out to me was when you said that Maddie saved you, looking back.
She does numerous times in my life, but I think the main thing is that from a very young age, I was, again, born into a family and a industry where a lot of decisions were made for me. My narrative was controlled by other people. I was not allowed to use my voice unless it was something that made sense for the overall narrative of the greater good. And for the first time when I was pregnant with Maddie, it was the first time I stood up for myself and said what I wanted. And that's the first time I heard my voice. and I used it.
It's striking how when you were pregnant, your parents separated you. And reading the book, there's several times when you can see they kind of separated you from Britney or Britney from you and your siblings. How painful was that? I mean, how do you wish that that hadn't happened? Because it seems like you needed each other at different points.
That time was just such a chaotic time. There was a lot of things going on, which I was a young girl who, again, I didn't understand much of it.
So if people are gonna go out and get the book, what would you tell them they're gonna get out of it? Why would you want them to read this story?
The overall reason, I wrote this book was so that I could show my daughters to use their voice, and I hope that that tells other people to do the same. Even if you're afraid, and even if you feel like it's something that's scary for you to do, your voice matters. You should always feel like you can control your narrative, and I want to make sure that I do that. And I hope that other people just do the same. And also have understanding for each other's stories. We don't know everyone's full story or what they've been through or what they're going through. If we can create a safer space for other people to share what their voice is, then I think that maybe we'll have a lot more healing in this world and a lot less judgment.